My humble prostrations at Amma's holy lotus feet, heartfelt salutations to my sisters and brothers. The quest begins. Ever since I was a little girl, I remember feeling a sense of longing for a cosmic consciousness that I had no word for. The only thing I could do was continuously looking up at the sky, looking for something that I didn't understand. Growing up, I always felt this deep sense of longing for something bigger than myself. Picture this: a little girl in the Philippines, in a family where faith was the backbone of everything we did. Fast forward to our big move to the USA, and suddenly I'm navigating a whole new world of cultural shifts and expectations. Trying to honor my parents' dreams and navigating my own path, I found myself tangled up in a web of attachments, desires, and expectations. It has been about finding my own way in a story that sometimes felt like it was written for someone else. This dance between fulfilling familial expectations and discovering my own dreams has taught me the value of carving out a path that truly felt like my own. At 19, I was introduced to transcendental meditation. That was a pivotal moment for me. At that time, there I was with a special longing or feeling unknown to me. At that time, I heard about a young, crazy village girl in India that attracted a following. I was intrigued. A seed was planted, yet not fully sprouted due to societal and personal constraints. Amma was calling me. Growing up, my environment nurtured a certain cautiousness in me, a hesitance that made the idea of globetrotting seem more like a dream than a feasible plan. This wasn't about lacking courage. It was more about the path that seemed laid out for me. So I embraced the more traditional milestones, heading off to college, building a career, getting married, and becoming a mom of 3 amazing children who are now young adults. Along the way, I found myself trying on different roles, each one like a new costume. It was a journey of balancing these identities, a dance of discovery, and sometimes a bit of concealment of my true self amidst the myriad roles I played. Then I had my first encounter with Amma in a dream. I did not know Mother yet. In my dream, I was flying overhead in a dark, stormy night, and below me I saw millions of people lined up. They were sick, destitute, sad, crying, etc. I was wondering why they were lining up. So I flew to the beginning of the line and saw the backside of someone wearing a white sari, holding someone in a tight embrace. I couldn't see her face because she was bent over in her embrace. Amma was calling me. She was waking me up, yet I resisted. My life was a showcase of tension between spiritual calling and worldly responsibilities. Amma had said, the ultimate cause of all emotional wounds is our separation from the Atman, from our true nature. The turning point of meeting Amma. I still went on in my younger years seeking something to fill a void in me that I didn't understand. That's it. I'm going to go find myself my guru. How do I know if I find my guru? I've seen a few until that one fateful day I heard about the Hagging Saint. That was in the mid-90s. It was a small venue in Palo Alto, California. I was just a new divorcee, and a single mom of 3 young children, 5, 6, and 8 years old. I saw Amma's poster at a kiosk, and since I was on a quest to find a guru, I decided to check her out. When she walked into the room from the outside, I was struck by her youth, her vibrancy, and I was immediately drawn to her. I observed her and her devotees and what the protocol was to receive darshan. At that time, you could pretty much walk up to Mother as she sat to give darshan. When I received darshan, I could hear Amma speaking right to my heart. But then it clicked. Amma's guidance, it's been coming from the inside all along. Like she planted a little wisdom seed in there, just waiting to sprout. It hit me that I was kind of waking up from this deep sleep I didn't even know I was in. The first darshan wasn't just a meet and greet. It was Amma's way of nudging me awake gently but surely. I had to go back for more, this time with my young children in tow. And wouldn't you know it, there's Amma's voice in my heart again, clear as day, promising she got us covered. It's one of those moments where you realize this isn't about the physical presence. Amma's got this way of letting you know she's there for you, not just out there, but in here. It's a heart thing, a soul thing, and that, she's the real deal. Unbeknownst to me at that time, Amma brought people into my life who helped me as a single mom of 3. Single motherhood is not an easy life, especially when their biological father leaves the country. Amma eventually brought me a second husband who played an awesome role as a stepfather to my children and supported us. Fast forward, Amma came back into my life years later. I was a newlywed, and the TV news reported that the hugging saint was in town. After all these years, and when I saw her in the news, I was gently woken up again. I had to figure out where she was. Turns out Amma had an ashram in San Ramon, California. I brought my children, and we got there at the end of her morning program. We were late because we got distracted and got lost. Getting distracted and getting lost was a pattern that came up during my many lessons of unraveling myself on my spiritual odyssey. Amma says, waiting for internal or external circumstances to be perfect before embarking on that spiritual journey is like standing on the seashore waiting for the waves to completely calm down before jumping into the ocean. This will never happen. Every moment of life is absolutely precious, such a rare opportunity. We must not waste it. Yet, it took 9 more years to fully wake up to my Amma. My ego, my desires, the temptations to be a householder, to be a wife, to be a mother consumed me. There was still that void in my life that I couldn't place my finger on. I still practiced meditation and yet couldn't wake up. I continued on this illusion of separation due to my emotional wounds. Amma's teachings say there are 2 ways to realize God. One is to go bigger and bigger and become bigger than the world. This means to become aware that everything is in me. I am everything. But this is not easy. This will easily inflate the ego because we don't know how to grow big. It's not the ego that should be made big, but the real I. The mind should be expanded to embrace and accommodate the whole universe within it. On the other hand, to become small is much easier. Consider ourselves to be the servants of God. God is not sitting in a particular place or on a throne. He is everywhere, in every object of the world. Therefore, when you think and discriminate properly, you can see that you are a servant of the world. Being a servant of God means being a servant of the world. Thank you, Mother. At Devi Bhava, When I proclaimed my surrender to Mother, I told someone near me that if Mother wears a saffron gold sari, then it's time to go to Amritapuri. When the curtain opened, Amma was wearing a saffron gold sari. The person who I told looked at me and says, "Looks like you're going off to India." And I'm sitting there, jaw on the floor, thinking, Amma can hear me? That moment was pure magic. It was like Amma and I were on the same wavelength, no words needed. By November, I was on a plane to Amritapuri, still buzzing from the whole sari prophecy. When I arrived at Amritapuri for the first time, 4 a.m. in the morning, I was greeted by Tumban, incessantly barking at me. Since I'm a dog lover, my mind was translating his barking as welcoming me to the ashram. I didn't know that he's in charge of security and didn't know Tumban was Mother's dog. Amma was out of town on a global tour. Every day I would ask around, "When is Amma coming home?" with a reply of, "Don't know." After a fire home one morning, I was making my way to Chai when I ran into Tumban, and he got into my head and told me to follow him. I was questioning myself as to why I could hear this dog talking in my head. He headed for the locked gate to Amma's house, and yet the small door of the gate was open. Tumban stopped, turned to me, and asked me, "Are you coming?" In my head, I told him he was a bossy dog, and yet I followed him through the gate. He led me to Amma's carport, which I didn't know was Amma's residence, and told me to sit here on the spot in the middle of the carport. I told Tumban he's a bossy dog, and yet I obeyed him. There was only one brahmacharini there at that time, since it was early dawn. She looked at me strangely. For some reason, I had carried in my bag a small sitting pillow, my Bhagavad Gita book, and a small orange. I had not planned this. It was divine guidance that I just so happened to have these items in my bag. I had no idea what I was doing there early in the morning, and the brahmacharinis were talking about me, wondering as well. Plus, I was reading the Bhagavad Gita. Finally, I had to ask if there was something happening. Of course, they were now surprised that I didn't even know what I was doing there. One exclaimed, "Mother is coming home." My reply was, "She is? I'm so excited." Now the brahmacharinis didn't know what to make of me. I was surrounded by the brahmacharinis. I had to stand up. There was a huge crowd of brahmacharinis, and I was the only Westerner inside. The other Westerners who were outside the perimeter wondered how I got in. Amma's RV came. Normally, I like to have a prasad gift to Mother, and I was caught off guard. Turns out the divine play made me slip an orange fruit in my bag as I walked out of my room that early morning. When Mother came in front of me, I gave her my orange fruit and heard her come into my mind, "You're finally here." She walked up to her steps in her home, to her home. She raised the orange to acknowledge us all. I heard someone ask, "Where'd Mother get that orange?" After an hour, I ran into Tumban and thanked him. He looked at me aloof and continued on his way as security. Embarking on this journey, I tread a path less frequented, guided by the gentle call of Amma. Life's trials, the lessons of detachment, and the pain to experience some sort of liberation is a universal struggle. Amma has been patient with me. Her unconditional love and patience is infinite for what I put myself through because of my attachments to worldly life. For that to happen, Amma had to clean me out. Many years of pain, grief, trauma, abandonment, betrayal, deception that I had to undergo to tame my ego. And when I successfully accomplish my lessons, I get boons. Otherwise, the lessons are repeated in different ways and levels until I realize what a fool I've been to believe in my illusions. Let me share my notes on what I remember from Mama's teaching on detachment. Detachment is the highest act of unconditional love. It hurts. It hurts a lot. It hurts because you have to let go of everything you love. This pain is mental and causes suffering to the ego due to the fear of the possible loss of a possession that does not exist, is not real, is illusory, because we cannot possess anything or anyone. Children, parents, friends, lovers do not belong to us. They are free and independent beings with their own way to go, just like us. That is why you cannot subjugate the happiness of one to the other. If you are not happy by yourself, you will not be happy with anyone. Attachment is a controller of time that does not allow you to live in the present, since it anchors you to the past or the future. However, detachment keeps you in the here and now. Detachment is letting go of the other, knowing of whatever happens, you will be fine. And it can hurt a lot because we were taught that we could own all kinds of things, even owning and controlling human beings. Emotional independence is the greatest gift you can give yourself and your loved ones. And only when you achieve it do you reach true and full freedom. Once you start moving towards detachment, there is no longer a way back. Detachment is the act of letting go and parting with objects and people with gratitude for the time in which they were part of your life and enriched it in some way. When you let go, flow, and leave space to receive abundance in all aspects of life, it will always find you. I've taken this teaching to heart, and it's been my personal struggle. Amma directs me in the direction of learning and experience. At Amritapuri, I hadn't seen Amma for 2 weeks. I just didn't want to fuss over little things. So I came to the entrance of the bhajan hall over there, and I was looking at Amma giving darshan. I prayed to her that if I should come for darshan, she would have to give me a token. My heart felt heavy, longing for her, and I went back to my room. There, I saw my neighbors talking, and I told them about my prayer. They were amused at my silly prayer. The next moment, one of their roommates walked up with an extra token and offered it to whoever wanted it. My neighbors looked at me and said, Amma's calling you. I felt as if I had been handed not just a pass for darshan, but a sacred symbol of Amma's loving call, a reminder of the unexpected ways in which her blessings unfold. Reflecting on this experience, deep down, I longed to be with Mother and have her darshan. At the same time, my ego couldn't handle the situation with the reason why I wouldn't come on stage, with the friction. My ego says, I'd rather be right than be happy. The saving grace was my prayer to Amma. So, what's the takeaway from this story? A turning point for me was when Amma shared an analogy that the ashram is like a rock tumbler, a device that takes ordinary rough rocks and with a bit of friction and a lot of tumbling turns them into shiny, polished gemstones. When Amma said that, a light bulb went off to my head. I thought, gemstone, that's it. That's what I want to be. So now, whenever I find myself in the midst of ashram life friction, be it a squabble for space during bhajans, a miscommunication, or any of the myriad ways our egos can get all ruffled up, I remind myself, I'm here to become Amma's gemstone. Every bit of friction, every tumble is just part of the process, chipping away at the rough edges of my ego, polishing me up for something bigger than my mind can grasp. This perspective has become my spiritual compass. If I feel defeated, I tell myself, gemstone moment, Struggling to find my place? My heart whisper, polishing in progress. It's a game changer. It turns every challenge into an opportunity, every bit of friction into a step closer to become the gemstone Amma talks about. So that there you have it, a tussle with my ego, a token from the universe, and the path to becoming a gemstone in Amma's rock tumbler. If there's anything I've learned, it's to embrace the tumbling with a bit of humor and a lot of grace. Because at the end of the day, who doesn't want to shine? I am eternally grateful for Mother's unconditional love and guidance. There is a journey for me to traverse, yet knowing that it's Amma's light that guides me. Mother, you have prepared me to have strength and courage to face the battles of my past and my karma. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse 30, for one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I am never lost, nor is he ever lost to me. Brothers and sisters, as we recognize our own journey and embrace our struggles as opportunities for growth, Amma is our guiding light when we allow her to open our hearts, acknowledging her presence in our lives, expressing our continuous gratitude and the infinite possibilities of love and transformation. Amma, through you I have found the perfect love of God. I see you everywhere I go, my beloved mother, peeping at me through the windows of stars and flowers with your ever-watching eye of God, through every opening in the atoms and the pores of the sky. Mother, hold my lost and found soul tightly in your embrace. Mother, I lay myself before you as your loving daughter, your student, your devotee of many lifetimes. Should there be anything I say in this satsang that I may have said wrong, please forgive me and let me do right for you. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu.